God bless everybody. Today it is April 2nd, 2024. I've got a quick Middle East update. This one matters. Israel launched a strategic blow against a general in Damascus. This attack happened next to the Iranian consulate, and so a number of people were killed in this. Iran has issued a proclamation that they are going to retaliate, probably through proxies, which could be that potential Hezbollah attack that I keep talking about that's supposed to happen in 2 Kings 24 verse 1 and 2 that you should be watching, as you also should be watching Turkey getting ready to do an invasion into Iraq and Syria. His elections went extremely badly, and so I'm guessing because he's not extremely happy at this very moment, he will go in with force. So what happened here? Israeli must have tracked this guy down, knew where he was, they targeted him and they killed him. He's a top leader in the Iranian structure. So he's a top commander in this Sud's force in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, and he was indicates he was assassinated, which he was, in an airstrike on Monday, along with his lieutenant and 5 other officers. This is the highest ranking Iranian killed since the current war started, other than that Soleimani. So they're going to equate this to Soleimani, okay? This is extremely important. Trump killed Soleimani when he was in office, and that caused all kinds of issues for the Iranians. And now we have this additional leader, basically like a Soleimani, in this guy, that has now been killed. And so being close to the consulate in Damascus, the Iranian consulate in Damascus, that's going to cause all kinds of issues, and due to the high profile assassination of this person, that will matter to the intensity of the strike that Iranian puts out, and possibly we would see an invasion or a structural siege on Jerusalem by Hezbollah and their proxies as we move forward. We still got that issue down in Hamas, down in the south. Netanyahu's trying to move those people so that he can eliminate the rest of the cells down in through there, and that's going to get extremely messy. If this opens up in Hezbollah, that causes another refugee problem and an outcry in the international community that Israel's off the rails and basically need to be stopped, as Israel knows that they can't stop because they have to eliminate their problem on both fronts, and Iranian front also, which is the head of the snake. You know, to eliminate this problem, they have to eliminate the real threat, and that is the regime of Iran, okay, and their leadership structure. Now, the Iranian people aren't on board with a lot of this. It's just the Iranian structure of government that's causing all these kinds of problems. But just realize that when you hit, and this is going to cause a problem for Syria too, because you've hit literally Damascus, which is their capital city, okay? So Assad has to figure out what he wants to do about that. So that's going to possibly amplify another level to this. And so just realize, and there's that other idiot that got killed a few years ago. Okay, just realize that's Soleimani right there. And they love this guy. He's a big martyr for them. And so when he died, he was a big loss for their cause. And now you have an additional guy that's a similar image as this Soleimani guy, and they're going to put his poster up here soon. Okay, so just realize this is how this works. So the question is, will that bring in an escalation of Israel's war through Hezbollah and this potential prophecy that these guys all talked about? You know, the prophecies are there for a reason, because they're going to tell you what's coming. And if you look at a number of the prophecies that I've been talking about, Turkey coming in to Syria and Iraq. That's against the Kurds. That's Daniel 8. You've got 10 nations forming against Israel right now. They're getting ready to do a full siege on Israel. There's Ezekiel 38 and 39. And then when you get into this Hezbollah potential invasion into Israel, now with this potential nod from Iran so that they can unleash their forces, that would then bring in 2 Kings 24, 1 and 2, which radiate out to a number of different scripture and verses and chapters and books. But these are ones that we can levitate to, and I constantly bring you back to, and we can move from there. So you have multiple prophecies going on at this very moment in time. Now, on top of all that going on, because if we're in the position that we are right now, and potentially a 6th seal event coming up in the next week on April 8th, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's a potential at this point, with all this going on, that you're going to see a potential full-on total siege of Jerusalem here, as Iran lashes out. Now, will Iran lash out against Israel themselves, or will they just use proxies? That is something they would potentially have to determine, whether they want to enter this war and expose themselves to be the head of the snake or not. But even if they don't, their proxies will lash out, and we're also going to see that compression by Turkey as we move forward in the near future. And if you go into the next article I have here about this guy's destruction, Iran basically says they're going to respond to this. So just realize that the Supreme National Security Council of Iran has met to determine what they're going to do about this strike on Damascus that killed their leader here. And so you're going to see this happen in potentially a few hours, a few days, as you're walking into the 8th, which seems to be an extremely important date on our calendar here, into the end of Ramadan, which was on the 10th. You've got another prayer session on the Temple Mount on the 5th, which would be their last one before Ramadan ends. And so there could be something happening there also. Not saying there will. It's been quiet up to this point, but anything could spark anything at this moment in time. Okay? So just realize that you've got all this going on. I wanted to bring this to your attention. The question is whether Iran will bring Hezbollah in as a full-on siege and totally bring them into the war, and that would then change the dynamic, because then you would have an additional problem in the northern portion of Lebanon, and or the southern portion of Lebanon and the northern portion of Israel, which would then cause an additional similar situation as down in Gaza. Then you'd have a refugee issue, and the international community is not going to tolerate this and would apply an extensive amount of pressure to Israel to stop all this madness, even though Israel knows they can't, and they have to eliminate their problem before they are basically eliminated as a state themselves. So God bless everybody. Keep an eye on this. Get your oil in your lamp. Find Jesus. He's the open door here, guys. You got to get right with Jesus. So be safe out there. God bless. Have a great day.